time for the Chucky C-Note Casino, and we're going to do the Beat the House segment. Charles, everybody laughed last week when you said 64.5 for the Oklahoma game. I mean, for the Kent State game. It turns out you were correct. Nice work on that front.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
sir.
we've got you got about. Well, let's take a look at the standings here. Not a great week because we all laughed at you. Only Josh and Mike Stoll were plus 50. They didn't bet much, but they bet 50, so they went up. Bob went down 50, but he bet less than Daniel, so Bob is in first place, then Daniel, then Sterling, then Will, Josh, Marlon, Mike, and then Jimmy and myself down there at the bottom. We went too much in not believing in Chuck, so that won't happen again. All right, Chuck, let's go ahead and set your line. What do you got?
Well, I mean, it's very interesting, John. I've been checking some of the online sites. You got Tennessee minus 7.5 on 2 of them. You look at a couple of others, Oklahoma's favored.
That's
minus
insane.
3.5. Now, that all may change, at noon or going on, but that's really surprising to me. When I look at this game, there's just one matchup that just jumps out, and I know Will's noticed it. It's the left side of that Oklahoma offensive line. Tennessee's defensive line, if it's one of the best in the country, I think they can feast on that. So I'm going to set this line. I'm tempted to set it higher, but I'm going to go Vols minus 8.5.
8.5 for the Vols, so 2 touchdowns is what we're going to have to say with the Vols and their first road game of the year at Oklahoma. All right, so I'm going to send it back to the studio. We need these They need these picks to be quick, but let's get the picks and the wagers from Josh, Daniel, and Marlon. Josh.
All right, John, thank you very much. As the one guy that believed in the Vols last week, Marlon, Daniel, you are ahead of us in the standings, so you heard that line, Vols minus 8.5. Which way do you go? How much?
I'm going $300. Chuck set it up perfectly. Give me the Vols.
All right, 300 on Tennessee. Marlon?
You
have 450 to work with.
Step up.
450 to work
So
with.
half of that or less.
Let's go 225 on the Vols. I believe we get them past 8.5. I think we get them.
Okay, can we do the 25 if you have to do 200? Oh, I guess he'll knock you down to 200 if you can't do the 25.
Knock me down.
I will go 100 on the Vols, John. 100 on the Vols minus the points.
All right, Josh Ward, thank you very much. Here's what they did. Daniel put 300 on the Vols. Josh put 100 on the Vols. Marlon put 225 on the Vols. I thought 8.5 would be high enough to split the panel. I don't think it's going to. Will Overstreet. By the way, thanks to the Smokies, you can't be at the ballpark without getting a dog and a beer. So, in honor of James Earl Jones, who died this week, and Field of Dreams, his famous line, "Dog and a beer," when he goes to Fenway Park, like a dog and a beer. What are you doing, Will?
I'm going to take 100 and put it on the Vols. I just think defense is strong enough this week that I think we still got them.
All right, Will Overstreet. Rain Cloud putting $100 in the Vols minus 8.5 at Oklahoma. Who would have thought that when Josh Heupel was hired? Sterling Hinton, the center
I'm
man.
going on this one, John P. 250 on the Vols, baby. 250. Let's go.
250 on the
Yes,
Vols.
sir.
All right, I'll get Bob and Mike later, or will I? Jimmy.
I'm going to go Tennessee. They're going to cover. They're going to get an onside kick in the second half, turn it into a score, and cover the spread.
So how much you wagering?
100.
You can wager up to 200. 100. Okay, 100 on UT. I'll take 200 on UT. I am absolutely a lemming at this point. So I'm in with everybody else. We got about a minute here. Now that we've all made our pick, Oklahoma has only lost 5 home games in the last 10 years. 5 home games since 2015. That's all they've lost. Tennessee has only held 2 opponents on the road in their building under 24 points under Josh Heupel. Both were several years ago. LSU, they held to 13. Vandy, they shut out. Other than that, everybody else has scored at least 24. Does that cause any wavering?
Yes.
Could have used that information a minute ago.
Yes. I didn't know about the 5 home losses in 10 years. That's
Pretty good, yeah. The interesting thing to me, and we've only got about 30 seconds here, I think a lot of this game is going to come down to Nico and his poise. He's shown a lot of it. To go on the road, it's all going to flow through him. I think they're going to go as he goes. So this is really a test of a young man's poise.
Yeah. Defensive line travels too.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm putting my money basically on in this game.
Sterling,
That
final
travels.
word.
Final word, Vols by 14.
Very good. Jimmy Himes, Sterling Hinton, Chuck Cavaleris, Will Overstreet, Bob Hodge, Daniel Hood, Marlon Walls, Josh Ward. Thanks to all those guys. Thanks to the folks back at the station. Thanks to the Smokies for having us up here. 2 o'clock, actually start the pregame show, 1:30 right here on Channel 6. See you next week on the Sports Source.